Look away.
Enough of this jungle shite.
This criminal is your only hope.
The story begins in the middle of a violent storm as pirates attack a merchant vessel at sea. Gunshots crack through the rain while armed men swarm the deck. Captain Bodden desperately orders his crew to burn the ship's logbook, insisting they are nothing more than simple fishermen. When the chaos settles, a fearsome leader named Captain Connor boards the ship. He questions Bodden about a stolen piece of gold and demands to know who gave him the marked coin. When his quartermaster reveals the vessel sailed from Cayman Brac, Connor gives the order, set course for the island. Meanwhile, on a sunny and peaceful shore, townspeople gather near a church bell as a pastor leads a prayer for the safety of the community. Not far away, a young man named Weston sneaks into a room and urges a woman named Elizabeth to run away with him. They share a secret moment together until footsteps outside interrupt everything. Weston hides just in time, followed by Elizabeth's sister-in-law, Ercell, who discovers her coconut sweets completely ruined. In another room, Ercell carefully helps her son Isaac with his leg braces, gently reassuring him, even though 59 days have passed without any news of his father. Back in his hiding spot, but when the door finally opens, Ercell scolds Elizabeth for neglecting her duties. Elizabeth fires back with something she has been holding inside for a long time. She desperately wants to leave their tiny island behind. The conversation cuts deep when Ercell makes a cold remark about her husband and Elizabeth goes quiet. That evening, Isaac kneels in prayer for his father's safe return. Ercell senses his worry and offers him a distraction. She pulls out a mysterious gift his father left behind. Isaac reaches for it immediately, but Ercell stops him. This is not a toy. The next morning, something feels wrong. Strange sounds break the silence outside. Ercell checks Elizabeth's room and finds it empty. Voices are whispering just beyond the front door. She moves fast, waking Isaac and guiding him to a hidden space beneath the floorboards. A pirate named Chen taunts her from the porch while she makes sure her son is safely concealed before stepping forward to face them alone. She pleads through the door that they are a peaceful family. The men ignore her and force their way inside. A pirate named Lupe attacks, but Ercell strikes back hard enough that the others mock him for being hurt by a woman. Their leader, Scout, demands to know where the household money is hidden. She directs them to a spot behind a framed portrait. Scout finds only a handful of loose coins and his mood turns dangerous. Scout finds something, a mysterious object. He holds it up and demands to know where the rest is. When Ercell pretends she doesn't know, he orders his men to make her talk, then casually whistles as he walks out the door. Down in town, locals go about their day without knowing what is coming. A man named Cousteau cheerfully greets Pastor Bradley on the street. But at the harbor, the mood shifts. Captain Connor's ship arrives and he presents himself as a humble brother of the sea, offering shelter. His words are calm, his intentions are not. As his crew rows toward shore, terror spreads. Elizabeth screams at the incoming threat. The harbor master shouts warnings. Women and children are rushed into the church when the local official refuses to hand Ercell over to an armed regiment. Connor sighs with fake regret before giving the signal. His sniper fires a single shot, cutting down a defender and shattering the peace of the island. Inside the house, the pirates have Ercell suspended by a rope, laughing as they search around her. She begs to know if her husband is still alive. They say nothing, but then she sees Isaac peering out from hiding nearby. Something changes inside her. Ercell explodes into action, shocking the pirates by speaking their language and fighting with everything she has. She takes down with ferocious strikes. Outside, cannon fire shakes the ground as the town battles the invading force. Inside the house, Ercell pins the last attacker to the floor, screaming for the location of her husband, and ends the fight with a primal scream. On the beach, Connor's crew drags prisoners into a line. When a man named Custody tries to resist, he is quickly overpowered. Connor steps forward and demands to know the location of the island's distress signal. But Custody breaks and tells him the signal is at the top of the bluff. Connor thanks him with a cold nod and then orders his execution. A cannon blast kills the man in front of the horrified crowd. Back inside her home, Ercell is actually recovering recovering, not defeated. She instructs Isaac to pack food and prepare to move. But before they can leave, Pastor Bradley bursts through the door and stops her cold. He calls her captain. He warns her that their enemy is someone from her hidden past. Ercell doesn't hesitate. She arms the trembling pastor with a flintlock and slips out to find her, Elizabeth, moving through the bush and avoiding pirate patrols. She eventually finds Elizabeth hiding in the undergrowth. Elizabeth collapses into her arms, sobbing. Weston is dead. Ercell holds her for just a moment, then tells her to run. Deep in the forest, the group holds their breath as pirates, with machetes closing around them. They carefully carry Isaac across a narrow creek and drag the boat through muddy water. The pastor, terrified, eventually surrenders to buy them time. Captain Connor approaches and recognizes him as Blackheart Bradley. He wants to know exactly where Ercell has taken the boy. When Bradley refuses to talk, Connor shoots him in the gut. Moments later, Ercell is spotted in the trees. The pirates pursue her into the river, but the men in the water start screaming in agony one by one. As panic spreads through the group, Ercell disappears into the bush. She ambushes a scout who follows her on land, fighting him off alone to protect her family's escape. She finishes the last attacker in the swamp.
Look away.
Then Connor's voice calls out through the jungle. He shouts her infamous pirate name into the wind. He taunts her, asking whether her son knows the truth. Then he offers a trade. Bring the stolen gold to the cottage and he will spare Captain Bodden's life. Ercell screams her agreement across the water, then leads her family toward a place only she knows. They arrive at a hidden coastal entrance where a concealed vessel waits in the shadows. Elizabeth stares in disbelief. Ercell guides them inside and explains the truth about their enemy. In another part of the island, the pirates complain about how difficult the mission has become. One mercenary recalls how Ercell once drove a blade into Connor and vanished without a trace. Ercell confirms everything. She had to become someone else to survive. Her husband always knew about her past and never stopped loving her. In the cave, Elizabeth discovers buried gold. Ercell tells her plainly that criminal treasure is their only way out. On Connor's ship, Bodden sits in chains while the quartermaster taunts him. Ercell quietly eliminates one guard with her blade, then snaps another's shadows. The remaining crew sends nervous whistle signals to each other as footsteps move above them. They agree to make the trade, but the moment they step out, the quartermaster announces they are completely surrounded. Connor mocks her, reminding her of everything she owes him. His men drag Bodden forward. Connor taunts him with gold meant for his crew's widows. Ercell insists she only took what was rightfully hers. Connor recounts how he raised her from nothing. She retorts that she was aiming for his heart. He decides to teach her a lesson. He plunges a blade into Bodden. Ercell screams as her husband collapses. He whispers that he is still with her. Connor refuses to let her grieve and she attacks him in blind rage. She demands to know why he couldn't just take the gold. He finally reveals the truth. He never cared about the gold. There is a bounty on her head. A sudden explosion rocks the cave and throws everyone into chaos. Ercell uses the confusion to flee. In the present, Elizabeth reads from Ercell's diary. Flashbacks show a wounded woman washing ashore on a new island, vowing to build a different life. Elizabeth traces the mysterious text with her finger and looks up. Back on the enemy ship, the quartermaster confronts Connor furiously. The gold mission has failed. He threatens to take command. Connor quietly asks whether that constitutes a mutiny. When the crew hesitates, he shoots the quartermaster in the chest. He then turns to his remaining men and reveals a royal decree: pardons for anyone who captures Bloody Mary. He rallies them with the promise of a new life. The pirates scream in unison, pledging everything to the hunt. In the cave, Elizabeth tends to Ercell's wounds and weeps while trying to stop the bleeding. When Ercell finally admits that Bodden is dead, the room goes still. Outside, the pirates are already preparing to attack. Elizabeth asks quietly whether the terrible rumors about Ercell are true. Ercell admits to every part of her dark past without flinching. Elizabeth doesn't recoil. She tells Ercell to stop hiding from what she is and hands her the ledger. Reclaim your power, Ercell makes the decision. They will not run. If they flee, Connor will hunt them forever. She strictly commands her family to follow every single order. They turn the cave into a fortress. She teaches tells Elizabeth and Isaac how to distract the enemy and destroy them in the dark, and then she tells Isaac something that settles deep inside him. If she falls, he is captain of the boat. The sea is in his blood. The pirates discover the blood trail and follow it into the tunnels. Connor orders his men to bring her out dead or alive. A scout leads them deeper into the dark passages. Ercell watches from the shadows, completely still, waiting for the exact right moment. Chaos erupts. Bullets rain down on the confused attackers. Small explosives detonate near their feet. Smoke fills the cavern. A massive explosion knocks men off their feet. Ercell taunts her enemies through the smoke and quietly orders the children to move along the wall. Then Scout ambushes them, laughing wildly as he attacks. Ercell screams for Isaac to run. Isaac pounds on the door looking for a way out as gunfire echoes through the stone walls. Ercell stays behind to make sure they launch the boat. Then Connor spots her. He shouts her name and laughs at the destruction around them. He steps into the open and challenges her to settle everything the way pirates settle things. Connor ignores it all and tells her that her capture and execution are inevitable. He says his crew will be remembered as heroes for stopping Bloody Mary. They fight, every blow is brutal and earned. Ercell takes the upper hand and mocks his pain. He cries out as she strikes again and again. She demands he yield. He refuses, and the final shot silences him for good. Both fighters stand gasping in the aftermath. Connor whispers her name as he collapses. Elizabeth rushes back to find her still standing. Ercell reaches for her hand and calls her a true sister. The danger has finally passed, and for the first time in years, Ercell reclaims the name she buried long ago, Miam. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what you think about this movie in the comments.